and welcome to The Red Menace. This is a comedy news podcast bringing you the latest and greatest hits from across the back of the giant turtle that is the world in the Terry Pratchett books. My name is Chris Bolson.
And I'm Alison Hoare.
I'm very excited to announce that I have finally watched the very bad movie Swiped.
Can I just, before you get into talking about it, can I just point out that Swiped is now like a trending topic on YouTube, and I believe we were talking about it before it was that trending topic. So we were kind of like stuck.
We liked Noah's bad movie before it was cool.
We were on top of the trend, and now everyone's kind of figuring out that response that, whatever it is, peace stuff, pictures made on their Facebook page. But what did you think of the movie? Did you enjoy it?
I wouldn't use that exact terminology.
No, enjoy is probably the wrong word for the experience that you get from
I'll tell you what I did enjoy, is when the protagonist said his line about how God put the app inside you all along.
Yeah.
All of my friends in the room, of which there were several, because I do have some, they sort of loudly exclaimed things like, "What the fuck? Holy shit. Is this a Christian film?"
Right, which is exactly the reaction that I had when I watched that scene.
But I want to tell you about another film that I watched immediately following, called another Noah Centineo joint.
Sure.
Because he is like Spike Lee and he deserves the same terminology.
Yeah, of course.
Same level of quality. So this is a film called SPF 18.
I haven't watched that Noah Centineo piece.
You know how movies usually have like things that happen in them and stories?
Yes,
and things?
sure.
And like sometimes they won't, but like you can tell it's for like an artsy reason and like it's supposed to be just like slice of life.
Yeah, just a bit like disjointed, everyday life kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has this super cool thing where it does neither of those.
Right.
So nothing happens in it, but it also has no like insight or depth at all.
Wow, that sounds like an incredible viewing experience.
We had this odd thing where most films are told in a 3-act structure where like you'll introduce the characters and like the setting and then like there'll be a complication and then like it'll get resolved in the end.
Sure.
So we were watching this movie and then a character was introduced and I was like, oh yeah, that's the complication. So we're probably, what, 10, 15 minutes into the movie, end of Act 1? We were 50 minutes into this movie.
Oh,
it was
no.
like 2/3 of the way over and the plot had not begun.
That's a very alarming experience to have.
I'll say that the movie breezed by, and that's something.
Well, that's quite good. It wasn't a slow burn like Swiped that seems to drag on for an eternity.
The main reason I did watch this movie is because I heard Keanu was in it. And obviously, Keanu Reeves.
Reeves? Keanu was in the movie.
From John Wick and The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix.
Yeah, Keanu's in it.
Oh, dear.
And so I'm going to describe to you the total amount of Keanu content in SPF 18. And I know you're thinking, whoa, Chris, this is only an hour-long podcast.
We've only got an hour here. You can't describe the entire amount of his content.
It's going to take about 5 seconds.
Okay, great.
There is one shot of Noah Centineo, a photograph of Noah Centineo and Keanu Reeves on a beach. And Keanu Reeves walks into the house at the end of the movie, looks up, says, "They broke my chandelier." Cut to black. That's Keanu Reeves' content.
How much do you think Keanu Reeves was paid for that cameo? I like to hope he was paid at least $1 million to appear in that one scene.
See, I don't think that's how it worked. I think he literally just met Noah Centineo on a beach, and they took a photo together, and that's the photo that got used in the movie. And Noah said, "Hey, I'm shooting this movie near here. Do you want to be in it?" And Keanu felt too awkward to say no because he's a really nice man that way.
Keanu was like, "Oh, I'm actually quite busy today. I've got like a lot happening." He's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's not till tomorrow." He's like, "Tomorrow."
I have to go and do cool stunts and shoot guns. That's what I have to do tomorrow. It's really...
I'm recording Toy Story 4 tomorrow. He's like, "Oh, that's okay, Keanu. We can do it whenever you're free. I'm sure you've got a free moment at some point during the week."
We only need you in this movie for 12 seconds, Keanu.
And Keanu's just like awkwardly trying to think of excuses, but he can't think of anything that'll get him out of a whole week.
Other people who have cameos in this movie. Pamela Anderson.
Okay.
Inexplicable.
Sure.
Actually, I think that's all of them.
I feel like Pamela Anderson's more on like the... I think she's in the part of her career where she's allowed to be in whatever shit movie she wants to be.
You know how most movies there'll be like the girl who's dating like the nice Christian boy, and then the sexy Noah Centineo type will come along and she'll like fall for him and it'll be their romantic story. This movie is really interesting because it does the opposite of that, where she is dating Noah Centineo, the sexy bad boy, at the start of the movie, and she bones him at the start of the movie, and then she meets a like celibate Christian musician and falls for the celibate Christian musician. And then
so that movie's a Christian movie as well. So that's like the result there.
I don't think it is. I think it just sucks. Like,
I think that's just like, I think that's probably a very apt description of it, that it just sucks.
So don't watch SPF 18. If you do, skip to the last scene because that's the Keanu one.
Well, that's probably the only part worth watching, I would guess.
Let's do podcast now.
I've
talked
news.
enough about this bullshit.
Let's do news.
Do you have story, please, Alison?
I've got a lot of stories, but I feel like we should address the Ushi situation. Because since we last talked about this, it has really blown up, as I'm sure you're aware.
It's gone. At first, I was really opposed to the name Ushi, and then I came back around and I was used to it, and then you just said, let's address the Ushi situation, and I visualized something I will not describe for the sanity of our listeners, and I've come right back to the start, and I'm very opposed to the name again.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough, because I feel like since we last recorded this podcast, which was approximately a week ago, it wasn't that long ago, a lot has happened in the Ushi world.
The Ushiverse.
So last time we were talking about Ushis, a kid had bought an Ushi for $100,000 on their mum's credit card, which wasn't ideal. So look, since then, more has happened in the Ushi world, in that a set of farmers... I've got to give the background before I get into this particular story. A group of farmers in, I believe it was... let me just find out quickly where this was. I think it was in Queensland.
Ushi, Queensland.
It sounds like Queensland. Let me just find out. And there's a lot of...
When Alison says it sounds like Queensland, what that usually means is it's a bit racist.
Or it's farmers. Okay, look, there's no really... It's some farmers from rural Australia somewhere. That's who they are. And so basically what happened is these farmers found the rare furry Ushi, the rare furry Simba Ushi, and these guys were like, look, we don't want your dollars, we just want some water for our farm. Oh, it's in Western Victoria. I just found that out. Okay, and so then everyone was like giving them shit online about trying to trade their rare Ushi for water for their farm. And then basically
seems like
what happened...
Seems like a weird thing to give someone shit about, but
look,
whatever.
There was a lot of Ushis are a very controversial thing. And so then basically what happened is that these farmers were invited onto the Today Show, which is some classic breakfast television here in Australia.
Jesus Christ.
The farmer then proceeded to destroy the Ushi live on air on the Today Show by chopping it into pieces.
He told the Ushi to put its hands behind its head and kneel down, and he exterminated the Ushi.
He assassinated the Ushi. He executed the Ushi live on air on breakfast television. And so I'm going to read this story about this situation from news.com.au. And so this says, I don't regret it. Ushi destroying couple given hero's welcome at pizza bar. A Victorian couple who destroyed a rare Woolies collectible toy live on television said that they had no regrets and were given a hero's welcome at a pizza bar for their defiant act.
Given that it's called Ushi, no regrets does seem accurate, actually.
I really regret saying no regret, because that sounds quite problematic.
Yeah.
On Friday, the farmers from Katandra West explained how the discovery of a furry Simba as part of the supermarket's Lion King Ushi promotional campaign led to a vile wave of online abuse. Appearing on live Channel 9's Today Show, Stephen Black, along with his wife Melissa, responded by slowly cutting the toy to pieces with a pair of scissors.
Snip, 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 snip. I'm trying to be like your hype man, like in a rap song.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure what you were doing there. I thought this was like the ASMR part of it, but both of those things work.
Audience might have figured out at this point, I'm really fucking tired and a bit sick.
Yeah, well, that about sums up your usual state of being, I think, is generally quite tired.
Wow,
unless we're recording on a Saturday morning, in which case both of us have a strange amount of energy.
No, I wake up and I'm tired. That's just kind of how I am. I think I might have some sort of disorder, but, it is what it is.
That's kind of my general state of being, too. I think it's kind of, the general millennial point of view is like constant tiredness.
Ask, are you a morning person or an afternoon or an evening person? I'm like, I'm an asleep person, ideally. And then the rest of the time, I'm just kind of there.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not really any of those things.
No.
But this farmers are clearly a morning person because they're appearing on the morning show. That's my segue back into the story.
I'm sorry, I forgot what we do here.
Look, so then the couple returned to the show this morning, and Mr. Black said he had no regrets over his actions. I haven't looked at any social media since the on-screen decapitation, he said, but I'm very happy with my actions and I don't regret
all
it.
Of the phrasings to use. That's an image.
Since the on-screen decapitation, it's quite dark. Yeah.
You know how ever since... Fair warning, everyone. This is about to get a little bit dark. You know how ever since 9/11, lots of, big blockbuster movies have had lots of, 9/11-y imagery in it? Like in superhero movies, there's always buildings collapsing and stuff like that.
Or there'll be a twist at the end of an otherwise normal drama movie that will be like, and it was 9/11 all along, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't think we need to execute Ushi's live on TV in quite this dramatic a fashion.
Yeah, it is quite grim. It is quite grim. But, I mean, at least they don't regret it. And they did get free pizza off this in the pizza bar. Actually, that does sound
pretty good.
And the whole town celebrated. And this just reminds me of all those Tumblr posts that would go around, and it's like they did something benign and then everyone stood up and clapped. So this is like that. They destroyed an Ushi live on air, and then everyone in the town gave them a standing ovation at the pizza bar. Which is apparently a thing that happens.
Then they said, instead of pizza, we would like water, please. For our plants.
Exactly.
For our outside plants that make food.
Yeah, sure. And that's basically all there is to the story. I just felt I needed to give an update on the Ushi situation, because I know our listeners are avidly checking into our podcast each week to find out what's happening with that. But I think that's probably the last story we'll do about Ushis. Because I feel like decapitating an Ushi live on air is peak Ushi. And that's we can't beat that.
I think we've drained the Ushi, if you know what I mean.
We've drained it.
There's no more Ushi to get out of it.
But look, I just felt like we needed to give that ending to the story, because it just shows how extreme this little shitty pencil topper collectible is becoming in Australia.
We really needed to reach the climax of the Ushi story.
Of the Ushi being decapitated live on air on breakfast television.
Can I, instead of a story, I want to bring you a Kickstarter.
Okay.
This one is upsetting.
More upsetting than the Thor wallet?
Yeah, way more upsetting.
Okay, well that's setting me up for some emotions.
This is called Luby. Black rice and fermentation technology for youthful skin.
The name?
It's called Lubi, capital L, lowercase u, capital B, lowercase I, Luby.
Okay, sure. Did they do some kind of focus group with that name to see how that would go over?
Unclear.
Yeah, I'm not sure that... Yeah.
So I'll say that I'm not 100% confident that English is the first. So this, I believe, does come from...
Fair enough.
I think this was started in Seoul. The translation job is not great, but it is very funny.
All right.
For example, there's some features listed at the top from outstanding feedbacks with an S, from Cosmoprof Las Vegas 2019. fast absorption, smooth, not sticky, good smell.
I'm glad it has a good smell.
In ancient China, black rice had been reserved exclusively for the emperor and royalty for their youth and longevity. Also, black rice was known as forbidden rice. While no one else was allowed to eat black rice without permission of the emperor. Besides the health benefits of black rice, our QB Skin Lab team has noticed the outstanding skin improvement benefits, such as anti-aging, whitening, and wrinkle improvements of black rice. And wrinkle improvements of black rice.
Wrinkle improvements as in it improves your wrinkles to make them better wrinkles?
Definitely makes them whiter, I know that much. And took action to produce an all-in-one skin improvement serum. The table below shows superior anti-aging, whitening, and wrinkle improvement effect of black rice compared to ordinary rice, in brackets, white rice.
I'll be honest, I'm not usually rubbing ordinary rice on my skin.
Well, you're not doing it right, Alice.
No, I don't think so. Clearly, I'm not doing it right. Otherwise, I would be rubbing the rice on my skin, I suppose.
So, in fermentation extract of white rice, there is only 512 anti-aging antioxidants. But in solid state ion fermentation of black rice, there is 2,229. In white rice, there is 8 whitenings. In black rice, there is 39 whitenings.
What's the unit of whitening?
Whitenings. It's one whitening, Alison. What don't you understand about this? There is 15 wrinkle improvements in white rice. In black rice, there is 40 wrinkle improvements.
I think my favourite thing is when people give a number for something, but there's no unit of measurement, so you have no idea.
But I know that you can get 40 wrinkle improvement. I like to believe you pick 40 wrinkles on your body, and you say, I want to fix these
40 of those ones. Like, the black rice will come to you and it'll say, look, Chris, this is our consultation session. Which particular wrinkles? You've got 40 that you can choose from. Which particular ones would you like to improve?
I don't think that's how it works. I think it's an RNG situation where it'll choose the wrinkles at random across your body, and you have to
I don't want that. I don't want that.
You have to apply the rice to your body every day, and then it will choose 40 different wrinkles to remove. The problem is, from the male perspective at least, there's a highly concentrated number of wrinkles in the scrotal area compared to the rest of the body.
Yeah.
And that's going to be weird when that suddenly becomes very smooth and your face is still bad. Because that's a conversation no one wants to have.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like an ideal situation to happen.
Luby.
Look, I can't wait for, thinking about a more general perspective. We've all got a lot of, wrinkles happening on our hands that help our hands to bend properly.
That's true, but they're all going to go.
Yeah, they're all going to go, and you will just have, a smooth, fleshy hand that looks like a kid's trying to draw anime pictures. And so your fingers will not bend properly because there's no creases, and it will be very uncomfortable.
If you look at the underside of your elbow, you'll see many, many little creases along there. So they're all going to be gone, and your arm will be straight forever. But you won't have any wrinkles, and that's pretty cool.
Well, that's good, because I do feel very self-conscious about my inner elbow creases. I think it's one of my, the parts of my body I mostly don't want to show.
Luby is an ampule that harnesses the nutrients in black rice bran to create powerful anti-aging effects for the skin. This is all made possible due to our in-house research and development of the solid state ion fermentation technique that our team created.
There's a lot of science words there, so I'm only going to assume that it is in fact scientifically accurately proven.
What is an ion? I don't know.
Okay, I know what an ion is vaguely from year 12 chemistry, but that was 10 years ago, Chris, and that's a long time.
I know fermentation is how you make booze, and I'm going to assume solid state means that they haven't melted the thing. So I like to think they've just fermented some rice, and that's what this is.
It's just rancid rice that you rub right on your skin.
It's just moonshine.
Moonshine sake. That sounds like a good thing.
With this technique, we were able to extract skin improvement substances of the Black Rice bran in the best condition.
Skin improvement substances. It just sounds inherently wrong.
Now, this is where we get into some real good science.
Okay.
In addition, we were able to reduce the particle size to make it smaller than the average skin pore. So what you do is you get some of it and just push it into those bad boys, and it'll just fill them right on up.
It'll just clog the holes.
It'll just plug those bad boys up.
How big is an average pore?
I know it's bigger than a Black Rice bran. That's what I've learned today.
Sure, because what I know about pores is that usually my pores look like a reasonable size until you take a photo of my face with a high-definition camera. And then each of my pores looks like a gaping black hole that's very easy to see.
I think that Apple is funded by big makeup, and that's what they have a filter that's on all of their cameras.
Yeah, that's just making everyone's pores... because, to be honest, my Samsung phone, the backwards-facing camera, the one that you take photos of scenery, is very high quality, but the selfie camera is more low quality, which is good for your self-esteem because you don't see every pore and hair on your face.
Yeah. I don't like seeing any of those of me.
No, I don't like seeing, micro hairs on the tip of my nose, poking out of a pore. And that's a view that you get when you've got a high-quality selfie camera pointing towards your face.
What is an ampule, and why is it good for the skin? An ampule is a more advanced serum with higher concentrations of active skin improvement ingredients.
Such as?
Point 1, total skincare system. Point 2, power of black rice. Point 3, solid state ion fermentation technology. Point 4, high quality and reasonable price.
That's one of the skincare improvement things, is the reasonable price?
It's very important for skin.
Well, to be honest, because you know when you can have really stressful moments and then you get a breakout in your skin? Yeah. Maybe the fact that it's a reasonable price will mean you'll feel less stressed about the money you're spending, which means you'll less likely get a stress breakout of acne. So in that sense, the reasonable price does help you improve your skin.
I want to describe some of the promotional images that are down the bottom.
Yeah, I would like to know.
So one is a picture of someone just pouring a bunch of black rice grains out of a jar, and then there's a super duper close-up of one of the black rice grains, and I've got to say, it looks like a kidney stone, and it does not look pleasant. Next image. They have put some of the... So they've taken an apple, right? And they've sliced it down the middle, so there's a slice of apple, and there's two of them, and they look the same. One of them looks like it's just been left out in the sun for a bit, and it's gone a bit, nasty. The other one has gone nasty too, but they've rubbed some lubie on it. And it has had the same... It's essentially bleached this nasty apple and made it white. So... I'm not saying... I don't know if I'd want to put that on my skin, is all I'm saying.
Well, I'd be a little bit concerned about that too, I would admit.
It is frankly quite distressing, the speed at which the lubie is changing the colour and texture of this apple. It is almost like it's face-tuning that, smoothing photo filter in real time onto the apple, but applied by paintbrush.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure I'll put that on my skin.
The effect I imagine is if you just sort of took, Glad wrap and just sort of applied that to your cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to do that.
So apparently it'll help your skin suppress melanin production. So it actually will make you whiter, which is interesting. There's another bit where they've taken a piece of toast. One side of it is without lubie, and one side of it is with lubie. The without lubie side is a piece of toast. The with lubie side is a wet piece of toast. I don't know why that's a promotional thing. Can I please implore everyone to look up the Lubie Kickstarter campaign just to see this half-wet piece of toast, because it's so gross to look at.
Why is that included?
I don't know.
What is it demonstrating?
Apparently, if you put lubie on your skin, your skin
will become wet.
They've measured it with a moisture test, which looks like a temperature test, but it's moisture. Before lubie, 20%. After lubie, 77%. So if you rub this lubie on your skin, you do get the good wet skin.
Okay, sure.
That's pretty much it. Then they've got some very boring, sciencey looking graphs at the bottom. I'm going to assume...
I don't like graphs.
I don't like graphs either, especially when it's about lubie.
I don't really know. Especially when I guess the units in this probably aren't measured. It's probably like, 7 lubies out of 10. And you're like, I don't know what 7 lubies out of 10 means.
So you buy lubies in 50ml bottles that look like little perfume bottles.
Okay, that's nice.
They expire after 2 years or 6 months after opening.
Sure.
Lubie is vegan and cruelty-free, which is great.
That's great. That's nice to know.
Included in the box is the lubie ampule and the box. They make sure to specify that. There's a what is included. There is the lubie, and there is the box that the lubie comes in.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Because I don't have cats, but if I did have a cat, I'd like to know that there is something that the cat might enjoy playing with.
So this has been in development for 6 years. And it's going to be launched in October, and I'm very excited for Lubie.
Let's try and get a sponsorship from Lubies for our podcast.
Well, I mean, here's a fun little game that I want to add to the end of this Kickstarter segment, which is... So their goal for funds was 7,381 Australian dollars.
Okay, that's not very much.
How much money do you think that was pledged to Lubie in total?
430.
$62,125.
That's a lot of money over there.
And that's from only 544 backers. So some people have really committed to this shit.
There are a lot of people who've put in a lot of money.
For this Lubie skin.
That's alarming. Yeah.
Do you have a story for me?
Yeah, let's jump over to Canada.
Let's do it.
Do you remember Salad Fingers?
No.
You don't remember Salad Fingers? The weird animation with a guy who liked rusty spoons and rusty kettles?
No. Is this going to ruin the story?
Well, not really.
Because I genuinely don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Okay, just Google Salad Fingers and take a look at the face of the Salad Fingers guy. He's green and he's got red eyes and a long finger, and he likes caressing rusty spoons.
Oh.
Yeah. It is like a thing from like early 2000s internet, like a meme that was really popular at that time.
Oh, I don't like that.
Okay, now you can close out of that. Now, basically, for those people who are like Chris and aren't aware of Salad Fingers, it was kind of like a meme video from 2004 that was very, very popular. And it was kind of one of those things that was like, I think it was originally on Albino Black Sheep, the animation site, which predated YouTube, that everything was kind of uploaded onto at that time.
It was called Albino Black Sheep?
I think it was Albino Black Sheep, or one of these other websites that were the same. Did you ever watch the animations on that?
No, Alison, you're a few years older than me, but I feel like you're a generation apart.
I feel like I'm so old now. The fact that you don't know what...
Because you are.
My gosh. I don't even know if it was on Albino Black Sheep. But Albino Black Sheep launched in 1999. There you go. Anyway, so obviously, perhaps it's people of my particular age group.
Old,
who know what the... Old, but not so old. Who know what this is.
Agree to disagree. It's fine.
I agree to disagree, sure. Anyway... Basically, I guess a lot of people in my generation are now adults who are now doing actual jobs.
You would hope so.
I would hope so, unless they've got a Benjamin Button thing happening.
Something has gone terribly wrong.
Sure.
If not.
Anyway, this story was quite funny to me. I'm reading from HuffPost Canada, and it says, British Columbia teacher suspended for showing salad fingers to class. The class were also shown ASDF movie and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
So this teacher got suspended for showing them some old meme videos.
Yes.
What the fuck? Were they okay?
Basically what's happened here is the teacher's shown his students some old meme videos from like early 2000s internet, and he got suspended for that.
That's a fireable offence.
It is a fireable offence, indeed.
We only at Montreal High. We only watched the polls. We only watch our good friends Logan and Jake.
We only watch the most up-to-date memes. We only watch like the hottest memes right out of TikTok. None of this old albino black sheep cartoons. That's just too far.
People talk about the 24-hour news cycle. Baby, in YouTube it's the 24-minute cycle. So if it's more than 24 minutes old, that shit is going to get you fired.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't know, these videos were pretty weird. But also, it's just quite a funny story. So I'm going to jump into this.
Do you think he'd get fired if he showed them, like, the Charlie Bit Me video? Like, do you think that's a fireable offence?
Well, that's very old meme. Yeah, that's quite old.
That's the oldest one I remember.
Charlie bit my finger. What other memes were out of that? Because that was early YouTube.
That was what other early Tube.
Early Tube. That was before vlogging became, like, the prime format for YouTube.
I feel like I really only started to appreciate YouTube when Friday came out.
Friday. Yeah, I bet if he played that video, he would be barred from teaching forever.
Sometimes at work, when I'm just like a bit bored, I'll just sort of start singing Friday to myself. And I always make sure to sing the bit about what seat in the car I want to choose, because that's a really difficult life choice.
Can I just throw it out there while we're on the topic of Friday, how unfair the internet was to Rebecca Black, who was like a 12-year-old at the time that song came out? And I'm pretty sure it wasn't her fault that the song was really god-awful.
No.
And that video probably should have never been on the internet.
It's almost like the internet is a bad place that has made the world worse.
Yeah. It's kind of almost like, I feel like we shouldn't be dunking on 12-year-olds on the internet. But anyway,
I kind of feel like we just shouldn't be internet. I feel like we have proved as a species that we're not adequate and that we should not be permitted to use it. And whatever higher power exists should rescind that allowance.
They should just take that away. So I'm going to read the story now. It says, watching creepy and weird age-inappropriate internet videos is a rite of passage, but your teacher probably shouldn't be helping you find them. A substitute teacher in British Columbia has been suspended after showing his class the unholy trinity of weird internet videos.
God, I love that it was a substitute teacher, though. Instead of Planet Earth, they were just like, all right, I'm going to show you guys some weird shit. You're going to love it.
You kids think you know how to meme. This is what we watched back in my day.
Kids, I'm going to show you some Flash animations from 2003. This one is of a stickman shooting 400 other stickmen. It's really cool.
This one's really racist and problematic, but it was so funny in 2003.
You just had to be there. You wouldn't get it, because back then, like, the N-word was cool, and we all said it, and I know it's not like that now, but, like, it was cool, trust me, totally
back then, making Flash games where you assassinate Osama bin Laden was like the height of political commentary.
Does anyone else love South Park?
Yeah, okay. So he showed the kids the unholy trinity of weird internet videos. Salad Fingers, ASDF movie, and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. James Thwaites, who served as a teacher on call for Natchiko Lake School District, was issued a 2-day suspension for showing the videos to his grade 7 and 8 class in 2018.
That's like a normal age to watch weird YouTube videos at.
I feel like I probably watched... Okay, what year is it now? It's 2019. This video came out in 2004. That was 15 years ago. Yeah, I was 12 when I watched this.
They've watched Logan Paul fuck with a corpse. Like, their innocence is long gone.
They have watched Logan Paul find a real corpse of a very real suicide victim.
And, like, poke it.
I feel like a weird animated guy caressing a kettle might be a little bit less disturbing than that.
No, it's much more charming. It's much more charismatic.
It is much more charming. It is much more charming. And it does involve some skill to make an animation of a weird green guy caressing a kettle.
Yeah, that took some,
There's some kind of talent and effort into that.
He had to draw it, and he had to make the drawing move. That's hard.
And he had to do the voice acting. So it
That's
says,
okay, yeah.
in a report by the British
Triple
Columbia Commissioner for Teacher Regulation, Commissioner Howard Kushner wrote that students found the films weird, creepy, and inappropriate. Thwaites will not be serving his suspension. It says Thwaites will not be serving his suspension. In its decision, the BCCTR report states that the teacher is no longer working for the district and is currently stationed at a school in a remote community. His absence for those days would adversely impact his students.
Those kids are going to see some weird shit.
He's not going to serve his suspension because he's out in the middle of nowhere teaching some kids. They're going to see some real weird videos. They're going to see like the badger mushroom video and the like I am late tired end of the world thing. All of those videos, classic videos.
The parent is going to walk into the classroom and he's going to be explaining to them what ASMR is, and there's just going to be a video over the loudspeaker just going like...
Absolutely. And this... So one of the things I really like about this is they've included a quote from David the Firth, who was the creator and animator of Salad Fingers. And he heard about
going
this.
To the source.
Yeah, he heard about this, and he says... I fully support salad fingers being shown to children. In fact, it should be mandatory.
I love you, David. You're great. I hope you're not a milkshake duck. David, you seem nice.
I don't know. He just makes a lot of weird videos.
That's the state of the world these days, man. I hear, like, this person's funny, and I immediately have to be like, are they racist, though?
Well, I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would certainly hope not.
He seems cool just based on that comment.
Well, I also believe that, I think one day, I don't know how far along in the future, but one day, internet culture from like 2000 to 2009, which was like my peak internet usage, probably around like 2005 to 2009 was my, my most usage. Someday, that history that we lived is going to be taught in history class. And some kid is going to come and interview me about having watched Salad Fingers when it came out. And that's going to be like a revolutionary thing.
Here's my whole thing. The film Captain Marvel came out this year, and it's all about like the 90s and how cool the 90s and like Nirvana and things were. So I think that means we're 10 years away from a movie with a superhero in it. That's about
how cool, emo. He's emo.
That's about how cool 2004 was, and it's gonna be rough.
It's an emo. It's a scene kid with a LOL's Random XD T-shirt from JJ's and a SpongeBob backpack, who is showing all his friends, "Don't hug me, I'm scared" on his flip phone. And that's what it's going to be celebrating.
Then he gets laser vision, and that's going to be the movie, and it's going to be great.
I want this movie. I want a scene kid superhero who gets laser vision.
We're going to have to
make this happen.
Let's pitch this to Marvel.
Let's make a movie celebrating early 2000s culture, noughties culture, and it's going to be very cringy.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be bad.
All of the kids that are now, like, kids in the 2010s and almost 2020s are going to watch this and be like, oh, I wish I was a teenager in the early 2000s.
Literally every character is going to have bleached tips.
The frosted tips.
Frosted tips,
Either that or like the weird raccoon tail kind of bleaching job where you've got like mostly black.
Hell yeah.
And then you've got one strip and you've got little pieces of bleach on it to make the nice raccoon tail thing.
And we're going to get Justin Timberlake to cameo, obviously. And because Marvel has their, like, de-aging technology, we can make him look like that Britney era. Oh, yeah. JT.
We can make him look like he had the instant noodle hair.
We can make it look like he's still got the stuff.
And we've got to throw in, like, a bunch of MySpace stars from back in the day. The ones who had, like, the photos that everyone stole and would pretend to be when you wanted to be, like, a hot emo boy. You took a photo from like a popular MySpace user and you pretended that was your icon on MSN, and then you pretended to be a hot emo boy and catfished all your friends.
That's something I did not know about you that
That's
is...
something that I did not do, but it's something that a lot of people did do.
Right, okay.
There are a lot of people who catfish their friends as hot emo MySpace boys because that was before reverse image search was a thing.
This is
Bit of internet history.
This is comedy poison. Can I give you a story, please?
Yes.
So this is from goodfood.com.au. This is sent to me by my...
Food stories, yeah, great.
Sent to me by my dad. It's almost like he's hinting at me about something with this story. It's by Paul Sakal.
Sure.
The headline is, Smashed Avos and Sliced Arteries, the secret cost of our avocado obsession. Our avocado love affair has a bloody underbelly. As more and more brunches are prepared, overzealous amateur chefs are carving up their hands due to dodgy de-pipping techniques.
I'm sorry?
Is
this a regular thing that happens?
It's called Avocado Hand, and it's on the rise.
Excuse me?
People
this is
are
a real phenomenon.
People are attempting to remove pips by plunging sharp knives directly into stones and are ending up in emergency rooms.
Don't do that.
At an alarming rate.
Have you done that, Chris?
No, because I know how to get a fucking seed out of an avocado like a normal person without stabbing it.
What's your de-pipping technique?
I gently squeeze the avocado and it falls out.
That's exactly what I do as well. It
The
just
normal
pops right
way.
out.
You don't need to stab it. Staff at a London hospital have reportedly become accustomed to the post-brunch surge, while the affliction even claimed the high-profile scalp of Meryl Streep 7 years ago. So apparently Meryl Streep hurt her hand with avocado.
Yeah, well, high-profile scalp
hands.
kind of gave me the impression that Meryl Streep was trying to open the avocado with her head.
I mean, look, these actors live in a whole different world, you know, Alison. They're not like you and me.
I wouldn't be shocked if Meryl Streep was trying to open an avocado with her head. It would make a lot of sense.
Her butler wasn't around that day, and she was like, how doth this open? And she tried to grip the knife in her teeth and swing at the pip and stabbed herself in the face.
Yeah, well, that's not ideal. Meryl, you shouldn't be using a knife with your teeth.
A new US study found that more than 50,000 people presented to emergency departments with avocado-related hand injuries in the 20 years leading up to 2017. So that's 2,500 a year.
That is a lot of avocado-related injuries.
And that's in the US alone.
That's far more avocado-related injuries than I would imagine.
Almost 30,000 of the cases occurred in the 5 years prior to 2007. This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The lacerations, 80% of which were sustained by females, rose almost uniformly with the boom in avocado consumption. I'm going to assume this is because men don't like pipping avocados themselves or something, or they make women do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, or a lot of men just pretend they don't know how to do basic chores to make their girlfriends and wives and significant others do it.
Pretty much.
Because I was reading this thread on Facebook the other day, and it was like all of these people talking like really endearingly about their husbands and how much their husbands fail at housework. And it was like, oh, isn't it funny that my husband let the whole bathroom become moldy because he didn't clean it when I was pregnant? And I'm like, that's not really an endearing thing.
Isn't it funny how my child's life expectancy has gone down because of the black mold in our bathroom that's now there forever?
It's like, lol, David, he should have cleaned it better. Isn't he funny? Isn't he cute? It's like, no? Sorry?
So, people, what they're doing is they're trying to stab this avocado, and I think they just miss. And they...
They're swinging their knife violently towards the avocado and chop off all of their fingers.
Okay, so wait. So this is a quote from someone named Dr. Tomlinson.
Okay.
Is
he perhaps related to Louis Tomlinson from One Direction?
It is a she, and I'm going to assume so.
Okay.
Yeah, doctors can be... women can be doctors too, Alison. God.
Well, sorry. I was just thinking of Louis Tomlinson from One Direction.
Aren't we all? Actually, I never think of... Of all of the One Direction people, he's the one I think of least.
I actually couldn't picture his face. I can picture Zayn's face, Niall,
I can picture
Harry.
No.
The other ones, I don't know.
And the other one.
I can't picture their face. There's two more.
Liam. I remember because he has a shitty song.
Okay.
Anyway, If they're right-handed, they're holding a halved avocado in their left hand, and they're using the right hand to plunge the knife directly towards the palm of their left hand.
Oh, no!
Which is where the pip of the avocado is.
Why are you doing this?
The knife then glances off the pip and goes into their hands. A sharp knife... A sharp knife will keep going until it reaches a hard object.
Oh, it's true, it will.
Less frequently, sharp knives slice straight through the pip before piercing the avocado flesh and sinking into the hand. Injuries to arteries, nerves, and tendons can cause permanent loss of hand function and sensation.
Oh, no.
So how didn't we know avocado hand was a thing? It could be that culprits aren't forthcoming with the admission that they have the kitchen skills of a primary schooler.
To be honest, if I had avocado hand, I would probably say I had a motorcycle accident while I was doing a stunt for for a Bruce Lee movie. I'd make up a cool thing like that, you know?
Yeah,
it's got to be cool.
It's like you wouldn't tell someone you had like a wanking injury. Like you would come up with something, you'd be like, it's tennis. It's from tennis
it's
that
tennis.
I do.
Like I play so much tennis.
So much tennis with this one hand.
Every day I'm playing tennis.
With my wrist, really. I play tennis so hard.
Yeah, it's just like because of my really cool swing technique.
Dr. Tomlinson called on the Australian avocado industry to post instructional videos on social media to educate the public on safe methods to remove pips.
Well, this does give me an idea for like a new product. It's just a chainmail glove that's been repurposed to help you open avocados safely.
Yeah, it's called a dumbass glove. And
it's called a millennial glove.
I just love that it's called avocado hand. I think that's because what it means is a stab wound in your hand, and that's
sure.
But if you ever like fall onto a sharp fence or something, that is now avocado hand. Like it doesn't matter how you got it.
That's the injury. That's the name of the injury. Is avocado hand.
Yeah, lacerations to the hand, avocado hand. It's great.
I see the thing when you were explaining like how the avocado hand injuries happen is I could vividly picture that happening. I could vividly feel the knife like cutting through the avocado in my hand into the flesh. You
feel like you've got phantom avocado hand?
I do feel like I've got phantom avocado hand, and I'm feeling really uncomfortable thinking about that.
You know what's fucking great? Instructional videos can already be found on the Avocados Australia website.
And how do they suggest you open an avocado? What's the recommended method?
I haven't watched it, but
for anyone listening to this, if you can relate to having avocado hand, I do suggest you go ahead and find one of those instructional videos on how to the safe method to open an avocado.
So Dr. Tomlinson has some more tips. She says she noted the potential benefit of warning labels, but cautioned on a nanny state solution. Said using a spoon.
Oh dear.
Using a spoon to pop out the pip is the safest technique, or you could fucking squeeze it.
You just squeeze the bad boy and the pip pops right out.
She also suggested slicing the avocado into quarters, making the pip easily dislodgeable. There are many ways to skin an avocado, said Dr. Tomlinson. She's great. I like her.
I think Dr. Tomlinson knows from experience, though.
Yeah, she's definitely got avocado hand.
I feel like she herself has experienced avocado hand, and so it inspired her to become a researcher about avocado hand to avoid other people succumbing to the same injuries that she did.
This is a bit unorthodox. There's actually another story that I would like to give you. I realise this is going to be a Chris-heavy episode, but...
Now, look, I have a lot of stories that I'll save for next week then, Chris, so that's good.
I have a hunch this is one of yours.
Okay, sure.
This is sent to be by Marianne. This is on SBS Sexuality website.
That is one of my stories. I should go right ahead and close that one down.
Men are avoiding reusable shopping bags so they won't look gay.
That is very much one of the stories that I found this week, yeah.
It is delightful.
It's problematic and delightful.
I am delighted because of how bad it makes my gender look. Before we get into the story, I just don't understand men.
It's basically what I gathered from this, that really a shopping bag is something that can impact their feeling of masculinity.
Alison, it's so gay.
It's very gay to use a reusable shopping bag.
Real men just fucking hate the environment. Real men
don't... Okay, the real men who care about the environment just put everything in their huge man-sized pockets.
Yeah, I mean, what real men do is they just take a pair of their underpants because their dicks are so big, so it's like a huge pair of underpants, and that's big enough to fit all of their grocery shopping.
All of the shopping right in there. I hope it's clean. I hope it hasn't been used.
No, real men don't do laundry, Alison. Everybody knows that. Okay, well, that's
true.
Real men just luxuriate in their stank.
Wow, that's so nice.
New research conducted at Penn State University in the US has found that traditional gender roles are causing some men to ignore their responsibilities to the environment. According to Penn State professor of psychology Janet K. Swim, which is a great name.
Yeah, it is a very good name.
Men can be unwilling to perform environmentally friendly tasks if they perceive them as gendered, such as using reusable shopping bags. There may be subtle gender-related consequences when we engage in various pro-environmental behaviours.
Sure.
I'm going to skip that because it's a long, boring psychological thing. Reflecting the tendency to see environmentalism as feminine, all the people we were rated as more feminine than masculine, but regardless of the behaviours they did, Swim said, noting that participants whose behaviours conformed to their gender were seen as more heterosexual than those whose behaviours did not.
Sure.
So basically, caring about the environment is gay.
So basically, what you're implying, and this is the takeaway I got from this article, is that if everyone was gay,
the world would be a much better place. Yeah. I stand by that.
Yeah, I think that's really, really telling.
Yeah, well, okay. Just based on the ratio of cool people to not cool people I know, there is a direct correlation to gay and straightness with those two things.
Oh, dear. That's true. It checks out. It checks out.
Sometimes, I play video games online sometimes, and you'll get matched up with like strangers, and you'll have to talk to them. And sometimes they'll be youths, and they'll say certain things are gay. And I'm trying to do my part for the world and the community.
Yeah,
when they're like, "Oh, that's so gay," and I'm like, "I know, it's great. It's so powerful." I'm trying to use like terminology, like I'll say like, "Yeah, it's a powerful energy." Or
you try to like reclaim that word from the youths.
Yeah,
from the mouths of babes.
I'll be like, "Oh my god, that assault rifle's so gay. I totally want it. I totally want to try it out. Look at it. It's got a great magazine
so gay.
size.
That's so good. That's
so gay.
Good.
I'm so into it."
Yeah, well, that's a good... to be honest, I thought that calling things that's so gay kind of died out after the 2000s in the problematic era of badness.
You'd be wrong.
Yeah, well... Apparently I'm not a youth anymore, so...
No.
I just don't understand what's youth culture.
These straight kids have not learnt how to be cool yet. Give them time.
They'll become cool.
And failing that...
And if you keep mentoring them...
Yeah, tell them to play video games with me, and I'll fucking set them straight.
You specifically, yeah.
Me. I'm the only person who can be trusted to stop these kids using gay as a pejorative. And also, for fuck's sake, use reusable shopping bags. This is a PSA.
Yeah, well,
this is my soapbox moment.
Yeah,
if it's gay to use... Being gay is cool these days anyway. So use reusable shopping bags because it'll make you look cooler.
Well, see, if all of the alt-right people on the internet are correct, which they're not, but if they were, that would imply that people who don't use reusable shopping bags are being oppressed for being straight. So therefore, if you want to get far in society in this SJW universe, you have to use reusable shopping bags. So then the SJWs who are ruling the world will look at you and say, I'm going to give this guy SJW privilege.
I know you think like Rage Against the Machine, but don't. Just like chill with the machine because it's nice and it just wants you to be nice to people.
It is good. It is very nice.
capitalism's bad.
That's thrown in the end there for the people who listen to the other Red Menace podcast, just so you know they're still getting their little taste of communism.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this podcast that we make. Jesus Christ, I'm so fucking tired. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menace Cast, or on Facebook at the Red Menace Podcast. We sell sick merch, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, a tapestry on tpublic.com. Just search the Red Menace Podcast.
That's so many goods.
I want
so many potential fashion goods.
I just want one of you to buy the tapestry, so there can be a tapestry of my face that exists. Because I
guess that's kind of like the dream come true, really, is having a tapestry of your face.
I can't buy it. That's too much. It's just too extra. I bought the hoodie.
It is a little bit embarrassing to have a tapestry of your own face.
I bought the hoodie, and whenever I catch long train rides, I do wear the hoodie because guerrilla advertising.
Well, that's good. Get the name out there.
Please listen to our show and tell your friends to listen to our show. I promise next week it'll be better because I'll be awake.
And I do have a lot of stories left over from this week.
Alison has a lot of stories.
Spoiler alert. Panthers. Octopus.
So 2 animals.
Yeah, there's 2 animals. There might be more animals next week.
Fuck yeah. Shopping bags, they may be gay, but being gay is good. So you should do it. But also buy a local, don't support corporations, fight the power. Unless the power is trying to be progressive.
Yeah, in which case, go with the flow and enjoy it for now.
I don't fucking know, you guys. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. But also just be nice to each other.
Be good to one another.
Be good to one another. And be gay. It's better.
Be gay.
Be gay. That's the moral of the story, is be gay.
Indeed. That's a good takeaway. That's a good place to end it.
Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to go to bed now.
Okay, I'm going to order some food.
Good luck and good night.
Good night.